The final Sin First Arena is actually pretty awesome. Let's talk about why. So as you see, it puts us right into the action with an Arachnotron, Revenant, and Cacodemon, each having a different purpose in this fight. Now, the arena itself spans across this side over here, and all the way across to a whole other side here. So, it's really all one arena, but you can see how it switches it up. So yeah, it's not too bad of a start. Gives you a little bit of warm-up, but the key is the arena puts you right into it as soon as the level starts. So really, I guess you don't want it to be too sweaty at first, although there's a place for that for sure, especially in master levels. I like how we come back to Earth. That's where we start the game, and that's where we finish it, with the same music track along the way, which is really neat. But as we see, there is something else that I'll tell you here in a second that really makes this arena special. And let me show you that. Let me see if I can do a sweet Mancubus shot. We start to get more variety in with the Carcass and the Mancubus on this end and the Cyber on the other side, but we don't just end it here. Grab this. There, we almost had it. So we don't just have this here. We have a Baron that'll be coming up. Oh, there it is. Good timing. Okay, so let's look at this here. We have Mancubus, Revenant coming in, Baron. They're all coming in one after the other. Now, the thing that makes this cool, remember I talked about recently about making a video that talks about why Doom Eternal arenas are good and bad. Well, look at all the variety we've just seen. Now we have a Knight coming in here. All of these enemies, all of them are different. Whiplash, it's almost like this level, as the final level, wants to tell us like, hey, this is all you've learned up to this point. And now we're going to throw everything at you. So let's take a look at just killing them first, because there's even more variety that we throw in, and I really want to see that Pain Elemental kick in, but we'll have to work our way up to him here in just a second. Up there we go. Let's take a look and see. Now we have Pain Elemental, Prowler, Revenant, all of this. Look at how cool this looks. He is giving us pain, and from the sky, the Knight is from the ground. And see, this is a great combination when you have something like a Knight that is bringing you pressure down low, trying to get up close to you, and then you have the Pain Elemental from the sky that is really just giving you pressure from a distance. That classic pressure and ranged combo you'll find a lot in Doom Eternal. I mean, if you really look for it, think about this next time. The next time you go into play, think about how these enemies are used together to the advantage to play off of each other's strengths and weaknesses. Now, as you've seen here too, as I mentioned a minute ago, there's so much variety in this arena so far. We've had literally just about every single type of enemy, save for a few that we have encountered up to this point. Now, I know once we get a little bit further, there's still a little bit of supers, and let's go ahead and finish off all these guys here. Different supers and heavies. Now, one thing that I do wonder about, why is there no Archvile here? Is it just because it's the first arena? I don't know, but that would definitely spice things up. Having this Tyrant come through the wall is neat, but the problem with this Tyrant, as most of the base game Tyrants are, it's just like, okay, like, look, take a look at this for real. Okay, we have a Tyrant, right? We have fodder, more fodder, and, well, we have a little more fodder. By this point, this is the final level. We need more than just a single Tyrant by himself. And don't worry, we do get that later on in the level. But I think even now, it would still be okay. Maybe they just want to warm up to it. Let's go for the GK. But I really think we could do a little more. Now, as we go on and progress through in the level, we do see more. It does do a good job of spicing it up. Like the Buff Totem Arena is very nasty, but this one just doesn't feel that too crazy, even though it's a really good example to set. And maybe it's because we're a couple years past in the game and we all played the arenas many, many times. Just depends, really. That it doesn't get too bad after a while. But the next sections are the incidental encounters, and they give us a nice little pacing break. Pacing, that's a topic that's a little, I don't know if you'd say controversial in Doom Eternal, but check it out. We're going to leave that fodder behind and take a look at how they're pacing us for the next big encounter. We come over here, we can ballista boost, but you know what? We're going to do the intended route, following these green lines, and really going the way Doom wants us to go. Not bad. See a little bit of a heavy. Come up through here. We pass the secret buy. That's fine. But just a very small encounter, just to keep us fresh. Give us a little mental break from that one. Because, I mean, there are a lot of heavies and supers in it. It is true. So I can understand why they do that. And, of course, we have a hallway that you can position yourself with. Coming right into the Mancubus. I can see where this would be a little tricky sometimes, but it's really not too bad. man, it's just so different seeing the way that play styles have evolved in, like, I don't know, the 2 years the game's been out. Now, coming up on the next arena, we do have to consider the Rooftop, but I don't think this is too bad. I think we can, a lot of fodder mostly, you know, you have your Mancubus, your Pinkies, Arachnotron, a little palette cleanser, and you miss a few things along the way. There he is. Quick scope him. So, as we go forward here, I think this will be a good spot to have another encounter that's not so incidental, but the cutscene plays, it really builds up that icon to really get you thinking like, this guy is huge, he's massive, and it is pretty cool. I do have to give him that. I really do. But let's take a look at the next part here. Oh, forgot to get rid of the Revenant. Nice. This one is I guess that you would call it incidental as well, because you really do have a few different fights before you get to that next big arena. Let's see what we got here. We got the Prowler, bunch of fodder, but interestingly enough, here's something cool here. If you come over here to this BFG, you want to be rewarded with it, you have to fight for that reward. It's a good old classic Doom trap right there. And it's not too bad once you deblade them out, but you really have to make that time judgment if you have enough time to do it before they reach you to charge your deblade. Now this area is very nice. This buff totem with a Pinky, a Revenant, and all the other fodder. It may not seem like much, but the design is pretty good. It's not meant to be a sweat fest, but all of the fodder ganging up on you with the charging fast Pinky paired up with the Revenant does make for a pretty good little incidental encounter. I have to give some props for that. Otherwise, it's nothing too crazy, right? Okay, let's take a look at the next section here. See, at this point, we've hit like 3 or 4 different incidental encounters, and I think we're about due for an arena, don't you? Dread Knight coming in from the distance. If you're not paying attention, you will get ganked on like this, and you can completely miss an Ice Bomb for style points too. But I think when you really look at it, yeah, it's tough. You have to consider too, if this were a new game and you've never played this level before, you wouldn't be rushing through it just like this, right? You have to consider your first time through, and this is kind of why I want to see a Final Sim Master level, because this is supposed to be the creme, I guess, what is it, creme de la creme, whatever it means, that this is the base campaign experience at its finest. This is what it's meant to be from the get-go. Now, I like this arena. I do like this arena here, because, let me show you why. Let's take a look and see what we're looking into. Small, cramped space of a rooftop in a square formation. We usually don't go back to the middle here. Coming down into this area will get us trapped in our fights, and we don't want to have that positioning. So we take a look at, well, we have a little bit of rafters. Well, let's continue to fight. Surely they won't give us anything more to make this fight difficult, will they? No, they wouldn't do that. So the Arachnotron Revenant combo is a classic. You definitely see that a lot. But the Marauder here that we're about to see is smart. Let me talk about why. I like this encounter. I think it's kind of trolly, honestly, but I can appreciate what it was doing with it. Okay, so once we start killing off all the enemies and facing this Marauder, you know what? We're going to do this to help us move along. Okay, this Marauder right here. Let's look at this. Tight space. Gargoyles. Zombies. Imps. Nothing really like mechas to give you a bit of a pain and trouble, but what makes this fight good and difficult is that it's so tight. It is hard to get your one cycle set up because you have everything firing from all ends. You don't have a lot of room, and like I said, if you come down here toward the middle, you tend to run into problems because look, let's say I'm trying to retreat. I'm going to have to deal with stuff coming down here, and imagine being down in this area. You're not going to be feeling good. So if you're stuck right here, the best thing I can think to do is to stun the Marauder. Use that as a way to get out instead of trying to fight like a hero down there. Now we get the Revenant to spawn in. This is nice because we have to deal with the heavy on top of that Marauder, and really just makes it more exciting than just fodder. But if it's overdone, I think it's too much. I don't think it is though. I think just one heavy is fine. Maybe a little more. It really just depends on the balance. As you see right here, if you don't shield bash out, you really get caught in a bunch of trouble, so you have to figure out ways to get yourself out of there. Trying to set up the one cycles, as you see, is a bit problematic, but the fight does fall eventually, and it's not too bad. Finish off the rest of the fodder with the command. This opens up to the dreaded Rooftop. Now over here, it's this is a good little palate cleanser just to get you used to everything. And we're fine from here. Able to knock them out just like that. Now, this next arena is pretty sweet, but I think I'll save that for the next video since we're getting into the latter half of things. Subscribe if you want to see more. My name is Austin. Thank you for watching.